Hello and welcome to the Ready for Change coaching audio blog. I'm Christopher Testa, and this week's reflection is centered around goal setting. I know for some that can bring up excitement, and for others, well, let's just say that it can bring up some stuff. With that said, we are 1 month into the new year, and it's typical to set goals and intentions, resolutions as it were. I spoke about this in the last article, specifically regarding the importance of preparation, the how. If you didn't catch that one, don't worry, I'll go into it a bit in this one. But I wanted to say, over the years, I've spent a lot of time working with students, clients, and myself around this topic. Goal setting is often something many people know about, but are also very resistant to. This resistance is often the result of goal setting being commonly used in corporate and scholastic settings, which have left a bad taste in the mouth of many. In a corporate setting, it's often jargon. The use of smart goal, I'm doing air quotes like you can see me again. The use of smart goals is all too familiar. Leadership gets you pumped up to use the strategy only to whack you with it like a stick when you fall short. In school, goal setting was brought up, and I don't know about you, but I truly had no clue what the concept was important, what made it important. It was just another school project that I was probably going to do poorly in. And yes, I struggled in school, so as a whole, that might have been part of the issue. But I just really felt like if I was going to get it wrong, something bad was going to happen. I have found that I'm not alone in this. When the time comes to teach the goal setting component to my coaching students, there's quite often a collective shudder at the thought. This typically leads, though, to a very rich discussion and discovery that many feel the same, but that there's also a common thread. Goal setting for many has been a difficult experience, leading to limiting beliefs. What I commonly hear is there's too much pressure, or it's wrong to put deadlines. Also, setting a goal is just another thing for me to fail at, and they never seem to work. Whatever the thing is, whatever it may be, the theme is a limiting belief that keeps most from seeing the wonderful potential that a well thought out goal can achieve. Most people have heard of the SMART goal technique, an acronym designed to bring structure to goal setting. It's SMART: specific, measurable, achievable, relevant, and time based. When it was introduced in 1981 by George T. Doran for corporate management, it was no doubt a game changer. The challenge is that when this model is applied to everyday life, something essential is often missing. Structure alone doesn't account for values, emotional motivation, or the internal resistance many people experience. Without those elements, even well-defined goals can quietly fall apart, especially outside of corporate environments. I would like to offer a goal-setting tool, or model, if you will, that may help address what seems to be missing. Based on my work with students and clients in the coaching world, similarly, I've used an acronym that I hope will be easy to remember and that captures the ultimate goal. THRIVE. Thrive. Because that is what I genuinely hope for everyone, to thrive in whatever way makes sense to you. And because I believe goal setting can be a powerful contributing factor, I decided to combine the two. Let's start with T. Target. Having a clear target in focus is the first step. Know where you want to go, what the desired outcome is, and the details of your target goal. Be sure that the goal is yours. Far too often, people set goals that were never theirs to begin with, based on external influence or internal pressure. This goal is yours. Own it and keep it a clear target in sight. The simple act of setting a target reinforces motivation. A target gives direction, and direction inspires a sense of purpose. H. How. My previous article focused entirely on this part of goal setting. Suffice to say, I think it's important, possibly the most important. Well, nearly, but we'll get to that. The how refers to how you will actually do the thing. It's not enough to state what you will do. You must be clear on how you will do it. This one is the most commonly overlooked piece of goal setting. Once a target is established, it's easy to want to jump straight in without a clear plan. This often leads to giving up when the first obstacle appears. Having a target is the first step. The next is considering how you will close the gap between where you are now and where you want to be. This includes considering not only what could go right, but also what could, and likely will, go wrong. Preparation includes practical considerations such as time, finances, tools, and resources, as well as personal factors like limiting beliefs, unhelpful habits, and thinking patterns. In other words, it's about accounting for all the ways that you need to approach this goal, including all the ways you might mess it up. This stage is a divergent space for thinking, considering all options, no matter how unrealistic. Sometimes I call this the magic wand stage, where you just wave a wand and think of all the potential things that you could do if things were working out the way you wanted them to. This helps bring forward new perspectives and ideas. Next, R, refine. The previous step is where divergent brainstorming takes place. This step is where convergent selection happens. Allow space for all possibilities to surface, then begin refining the list. Weigh the pros and cons. Consider what works best with your current skills, what supports you may need, and what resources you have available. Add a timeline at this stage, not as a punitive deadline, but as another guiding target. Timelines help maintain momentum and motivation. For many, time limits add stress because they are associated with consequences. This is not that. This is for your use only and can be adjusted as needed. Move it closer if you can achieve it sooner, or extend it if you need more time. Just be honest with yourself. Refine until you have something you can realistically manage and that begins to excite you. I, implement. This is the do the darn thing stage. Take the first step, knowing that things may not go according to plan, and that's okay. Observe what works and what doesn't. New information will emerge either way. If it doesn't work, revisit the plan with the new information. If it does, celebrate the win and move forward. If it doesn't, go back to the drawing board. No matter what, take the first steps, take action. It's time to do the darn thing. V, values. This is also something I've taken some time to reflect on. You may recall my reflection on values from a while back. I describe values as a guiding beacon, markers that remind you where your path is. Life becomes clearer when we're aligned with our values. Decision making simplifies, and when we veer off course, our values help light the way. This is no different with goals. Being aware of your values means checking in with them throughout every step of the process of Thrive so that you can be sure that you're on track. When your goals align with your values, they help you stay committed regardless of the challenge. E, emotional motivation. For those who have listened or read my reflections in the past, there's almost always a point where I invite you to settle in and reflect on some pieces for yourself to bring some self-awareness. Well, I've included something like that in this Thrive goal setting process, something that you'll be able to use throughout the entire process, but is really important to ensuring that you can accomplish this goal. This is where you take a moment with your goal, with this goal, to pause and reflect. What does it feel like to accomplish it? Name the emotion. If this goal truly matters to you, emotion will be present. Ask yourself, what does this give me? Accomplishing this goal. How does this improve my life? Is it more energy, more time with loved ones, greater peace? Conversely, ask yourself, what happens if I stay the same? If I don't accomplish this goal? Alignment with values and emotional motivation are the most powerful drivers for staying on track. For my wife, it was her art. Oh, she's a beautiful artist. When we had our children together, she lost touch of her art. She was like so many parents who began to believe that as a parent, she no longer had access to such things. We sat and had a discussion about this. It came because she had grown rather, I guess, solemn. Not necessarily unhappy, but just down, heavy. Fighting every urge to offer solutions and fix. I listened and asked, what did art do for her? She said it was like her therapy. And as a therapist, I understood immediately that this was more than just art. It was her self-care, her choosing of self. I asked, what happens if nothing changes? I stay bloppy. That's her word for feeling down and frumpy, if you will. She looked at her two options: self-care, therapy and happiness, and folks, I will say much happier, as opposed to bloppy. She found the motivation to do whatever it took to carve out some space. What started as, just a small table that she could pull out and put away whenever she needed, and time, which started as 20 minutes here and there, turned into a full section of our home, and time whenever she can, often hours at a time. What started as a small table and short sessions grew into dedicated space, creative freedom, a children's book, sold artwork, and dedicated self-care and choosing of self. All this is to say, know your why. Know what drives you. Know what you stand to gain from an emotional standpoint if you achieve this goal. And know what happens if you don't. Know emotionally what happens if you stay the same. Know your emotional motivation, and it becomes very hard to stand in your own way. V and E appear at the end of the model, but they should be present from the very beginning. Every step can and should be revisited, even with preparation and alignment. Plans fall through, resources change, life happens, and mistakes occur. Learn from them, adjust, realign, and try again. There are many goal-setting models. This one, Thrive, Thrive, I really do hope will help you in your journey. It will create some structure, but also help you to align with values and emotional motivation, to be thorough in your preparation, to know not just what, but how you will accomplish your goals. Well, you've made it this far, and I genuinely hope you found something that can help you on your path, on your journey, in your version of thriving. And with that said, the journey is long and often messy. Remember, you don't have to do it alone. Until next time, dare to mess it up and dare to fail forward. Ciao!